a guy that calls a Chargers Raiders game in LA a home
Home
game
game. Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
Chargers.
Home game?
A
Like,
home game.
yeah.
I can't imagine anybody would actually do that, but yeah.
The word to get out eventually. I think let's just keep feeding it out there little by little. They'll get it. You got to
Yeah, they'll
keep
get it.
seeding it. Yeah.
Man, I got 6 o'clock. Let's roll this thing.
Let's hit it, baby.
Game day, baby! Let's go!
I wonder who said that. Welcome, everyone, to NFL Nation Live. This is our week 1 kickoff show, and man, it is good to be back, is it not?
Yes, sir. Are you kidding me? Hey, get all your refreshments sitting right by wherever you sit or stand. It's time to roll, baby.
It absolutely is, and we're going to have a lot to say about everything that's coming up in week 1. We covered all the news and all the crazy stuff last week. But this week, it like you said, V, it's all about business. And you know what? I'm talking with my mom, and I'll say that, you know, any of you guys know my mom knows that she's pretty hardcore football. I'm talking to her, trying to get her picks this week, and she says, you know what, David? She said there are 6 division games this week, and that's really hard to pick. And I'm thinking, you're 91 years old. How the hell do you know how many division games are being played? She knows, man. She knows. And I'll tell you what. I was going to save this till later. The Las Vegas Raiders are her game of the week. So in everything, we got a lot to talk about. We only got an hour to cover it. I'm ready. I know Cap's ready. V, are you ready?
I'm clocked in, baby. Boom. Let's hit it.
Opening day is just like a kid waiting on Christmas.
Indeed. Week 1 is like a kid waiting on Christmas. The famous words from the famous Violator. The Hall of Famer joins us on the show this week. I am Ref Guru, along with the legendary Pirate, Captain Jack. Welcome, everyone, to NFL Nation Live. This is our week 1 kickoff show. We got a lot to cover. Yeah, there you go. You can win one of those things. I think I have the chat room open, so go ahead and let us have it. Keep it real, but keep it coming. If anybody sees Ed join the show, we got a little business to do with Ed.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I want to make sure we were live. Sheesh, you know, it's preseason for everybody. All right, we've got real football coming up this week, guys, and it all kicks off tomorrow in Los Angeles. Buffalo going to go in there to take on the Super Bowl champion Rams. How's this one going to play out? My pick's on Buffalo.
Well, RG and Cap, I'm going to go with the old adage, home field advantage, Super Bowl champs, banner ceremony, blah, blah, blah. But it's going to be a good, hard-fought game. But I'm giving the edge to the Rams.
You know, I wouldn't blame you on that front for all those things you just said. There's a couple things on my mind here, though. And welcome to the chat, everybody. You know, V, the Rams are the Super Bowl champs, and they are playing at home, so they deserve all those credits. But this Bills team, I think they're more fired up than they've been in a long time. This is a dangerous football team. This may be the most dangerous week 1 football team out there right now, next to the Raiders. I don't think the Rams are going to know what hit them, so to speak. I think Matthew Stafford has an issue with his arm. I think the timing is going to be off. I think the defense for the Rams will play well. I think the Bills are going to take this, and I think their secret weapon is Von Miller.
Because Von does.
He knows a little bit about the Rams.
He knows a little bit.
Hey, you know what? You know what? Every little bit may matter. Aaron Donald is still Aaron Donald. They can change all the calls. They can go from turkey trot to chicken scratch, whatever their favorite call is that they want to make it. But I'm just saying that I think the Bills are going to make a statement. They'll be the second team in this week that's going to make a statement. We'll get to that, who that other team is in a minute. But I think they're going to make a statement. I think they're going to go in there. I think they're going to beat the Rams. And here's the thing. An opening win for Buffalo on the road does more for that team than a Rams loss at home would hurt the Rams. Nobody wants to lose. We talk about this. We talk about that on this show. You want to win your home games, blah, blah, blah. Interconference games don't really matter. If you're going to lose one, lose that one. You don't really want to lose it at home. But the Bills being 1-0 in a division that they need to make a statement on with the rest of their division kind of up in the air. I mean, we're going to get to, Patriots, Dolphins here in a minute, but it's going to be interesting. I like Buffalo. Cap, do you have a pick in this one? Wow, look at the chat light up. Hello, everybody. Ed, I know you're waiting for your T-shirt. What I want you to do is send your shipping information to NFLNationLive@gmail.com. Also, tell us what size shirt you want. We'll get it shipped out to you. I'm sorry we didn't get that done, but we're going to make good on that. Welcome to the chat, everybody. Hold that thought, Cap. Damien. Who else is in there? Sinister Rain.
Sinister
Yes,
Rain.
Sinister
89.
Rain. Yep.
Okay. Captain Jackson there. Ed's in here. Welcome, Ed. Welcome back, Ed. Anyway, welcome, everybody. Look, we're also trying an experiment tonight with a little bitness before we get to Cap and the Buffalo Bills. We are trying to simulcast on his YouTube channel, so I don't know if it's working, not working, blowing up the internet, whatever.
Oh, it is. It is.
It's working?
Oh,
Yeah,
I'll be
it's
ding dang. I'll be
working.
ding dang dong.
I pushed all the right buttons, kind of like when I blew a gasket on my previous show.
You the man. Yeah. We'll talk about that gasket here in just a minute. But this is awesome, folks, because
it's simulcast. So, yeah, we are good to go.
This is not only awesome, but I mean, I actually feel like CBS now. We're actually doing this for real. Okay, we're gonna get to prizes, all that other crap. Cap, I promised you, Bills, Rams. Where are you going with this one, my friend?
Well, I actually, and with all due respect to Violator, because we are definitely not worthy. Okay.
Oh man,
No, copy that. Double
But-
copy that.
But I did show my butt on the other show. I did the old.
Seriously?
Well, not the.
You like
butt,
to
but
you
I
like
did-
to
I
moon
did
over
do the-
Miami or moon over Tampa?
Well, I did do the Jim Carrey, let me ask you a question type thing on the last show where I've done it before here as well. I didn't show it, but I did have shorts on, so everybody saw that I did. Have
good.
shorts. Yeah. So, but I'm kind of with Ref on this one, and the reason why I say that is because yes, it is the opener, but I think that the Bills want to come in there and they want to make an immediate statement to everybody here that we've been overlooked and we are the dominant team in the AFC. And yes, I said that correctly, folks. They are the dominant team in the AFC because I think that they don't have anybody that they're going to have to contest with in their division, whereas a certain team that I kind of follow is going to be, in firefights the entire season long.
Yeah.
Bills come in. Yeah, Bills come in and like I said, and you said it as well. Von Miller being on the opposite sideline, saying like you guys just wanted me, you rented me for a year, and I got a ring. Thank you, but you know what? I'm going to go over to this team because I'd like to try to get that other one on another franchise, which would make his third if he was successful.
Yeah. Copy that. All right. So we've got a lot in the chat. Thanks everybody for joining. We really appreciate the chat.
Appreciate it. Yes,
absolutely. And we will try to get to you and acknowledge your chats. We do try to keep the show to an hour as well because we know everybody's busy. So if we don't acknowledge your chat, don't think we don't appreciate it because we do. And we know it's out there. But I did see one in there about, I think I saw Raiders going to Buffalo for a championship game. I think we talked about that in our preseason show if that wasn't already out there.
That was Damien. Yeah.
Yeah, so and stay tuned too because we're going to give away some prizes. So in that case, let's move on a little bit. New Orleans is going to go into Atlanta, and one of the division games that's being played this week. We have no idea what we're going to see out of the Falcons or the Saints. Really, the Saints have had some changes, not the least of which is they've moved on from Drew Brees and Sean Payton. They now have Dennis Allen and Winston. I don't even know who's quarterback in the Saints at this point. But I think the key for me is Mariota. I was on the Falcons bandwagon for a little bit last year, and then they crapped out. We had to put them on the clock. I like Mariota to pull this team together. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he can read defenses. I don't know if the Saints are going to have to are going to have enough to beat the Falcons in Atlanta. What do you guys think?
Well, I'm going with the Saints and Jameis. He has more experience with his squad, so to speak. This is his second season with Dennis Allen, and I just think they're going to be more polished. And I question the Atlanta's actually offensive firepower with them losing a lot of key pieces.
Yeah,
and that defense, they've had some people move on also. So it's going to be a whole revamped deal. But I'm just giving Jameis the nod because of the experience and the familiarity.
What do you think, Cap?
Well, I don't do it as well as Jameis did because he actually contorted his fingers into like a W.
Yeah.
It's like we're going to eat a W, which the corniest thing that he ever is on film saying, old crab legs saying that we're going to eat a W. In this respect, I think he actually has this one correct. I think that the Saints are a better team overall than what Atlanta has so far. And I think Atlanta can get better as they ascend, but I think
Not for week
the
one.
Saints got this one. And Avatar, thanks again there, shipmate.
Yeah, right up for week one. That was my thing for week one. I just got to give a nod to Jameis and the crew.
I think, too, I'm getting a message back from Restream that if you're trying to comment in on Jack's channel, we may not be seeing your comment. So that may be an internet thing I can't fix, but it may be that we're not seeing chats from Cap's channel. We can watch from Cap's channel.
No, all the ones that are there with the J Room.
Oh, you're seeing them?
Winchell.
Okay.
Okay. We're good. We're good.
Okay, cool. All right. Sounds good. I just want to make sure because we give away prizes. I don't want somebody to be putting something in the chat and we don't see it.
Yeah, exactly.
Cleveland going to go into Carolina to take on the Panthers. This is a Browns team, obviously without Deshaun Watson for all the reasons we know about that. Jacoby Brissett, the Fitzpatrick of backup quarterbacks, if you will, taking this shot to hold the fort, if you will, maybe more like the North Wall, the Alamo. But I think the issue here is the Browns are going to go down there and play now a Baker Mayfield-led team, and it's you could argue all day that the Browns are probably the football pick, but I think he's going to have those Panthers so fired up, Cleveland's not going to know what hit them.
I'd have to agree on that note, but I'm taking Cleveland to eke it out, even though it's going to be more focused on Baker and his retaliation factor. Emotions are going to be real high in this one, and you can look for him to be, I won't say tense, but he's going to have something to prove, and I think that's going to really lead to a lot of mistakes. And I think that Cleveland D is going to remind him that they couldn't hit him before. Yeah. Now they can knock his butt off.
Yeah, that's for sure. Cool Kev says Browns leave a steamer in Carolina. Yeah, yeah, it could be at least that. Could be. Baker getting his revenge on the Browns. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the whole point of this game, right?
Yeah.
Is that Cleveland should be able to go in there, run the ball, run the clock. Brissett not make a lot of mistakes, don't have to carry the whole load. Defense just is decent to be able to solve. But again, how do you battle against 44 guys all jacked up, ready to kick your ass? I think that's just going to be a tough one. Cap, did I hear your pick on that, or you don't care?
No, actually, I'm going to go with Carolina. Over the Brown. I mean, home field with and people have bought into Mayfield there. I think that it's one of those things where the whole Panthers team is psyched up about playing for their quarterback. And I think that there's a lot of moving parts in what's going on in Cleveland. And I think that whole locker room is just so screwed up in their head. And it's just, it's going to take a bit. I see the Browns really just crap in the bed. I will be. I won't say the S word like I did on my previous show, and I
Yeah, I
dropped
appreciate
it so many times over there. I think I'm good
you.
for the year on that show for
You
the
wore
S word.
yourself out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
But
I
no,
think
I like the Panthers. I like the
yeah, I
Panthers
think if
on that.
McCaffrey's healthy, I think that's also a factor. I think the real issue there is how Baker, Mayfield, and McCaffrey gel, if at all. But if they can get that anything of that going, I think they could do. There was a comment in there: Browns have too much off the field drama. That's probably
drama.
true. And then I saw somebody said, "Oh yeah, Browns will win because of the
Two punch.
double-headed
Yeah.
running back
Run
monster." May
attack.
very well be, but that may very well be. And if they are going to win, that's how they're going to do it. But if they don't think that Brissett can beat him in the air, don't you just put 9 guys in the box and call it a day? I mean, those
Call it a
guys are
day.
good, so we'll see. But you're absolutely right. In the chat, if the Browns are gonna win this game, it's not because Brissett's all of a sudden going to become Daryl LaMonica. It's because they're going to be able to run the ball.
On the ground.
San Francisco,
ground and pound.
San Francisco is going to go into Chicago to take on the Bears. It's a 49ers team that's had a lot of, quote, drama at the quarterback position, which really hasn't been drama, so to speak. I think the real drama has been in your cue, Cap.
The drama.
Your Chicago.
There
you go. Yeah.
My kind of town. Hey.
Yeah. I think 49ers.
I'm here all week, folks. Don't tip your bartenders or waitresses. Just tip me.
Yeah, but there is a 2-drink minimum. So, So, but I think 49ers really should win this, walking away, so to speak. But Trey Lance, we don't really know what we're going to get out of him. But I think they're going to be just better enough that the Bears, we don't know that Justin Fields can really lead this team yet to a win, even at home against San Francisco. Am I wrong?
Well, I'm looking at it this way. I'm taking the Niners on the simple fact that they are taking the training wheels off Trey Lance. But let's not forget that their defense is still ranked.
Yeah.
Probably.
It's still pretty good.
Top 10 or 12.
And then the 49ers just have too many weapons, right? They got Kittle at tight end. They got
Debo.
They got
that's
the
offense right there.
Yeah. What did I say? Defense? I meant offense.
Yeah.
That referee's amnesia. That's why I'm retired, right? So I don't blow stuff like Boger. But yeah, I just think 49ers got too much. Cap, are you in or out on San Francisco?
I'm in. I think that, like I said, you just got to look at the team, and I think, like I said, Justin Fields is got it all over Trey Lance, but the last time I checked, that's one guy on an 11-person offense or one guy on a 53. Yeah. And Justin Fields doesn't play defense. He doesn't do any. He doesn't coach. I think that the Bears will get better. I mean, they can't really be any worse. But I think that San Francisco has this one all over.
Sultan says Bears upset. I don't know what they're upset about, but it may be because they lost to San Francisco. I know what he meant. I'm just messing with him. Remember, Raider Nation, anyone who is going to LA game, take copies of Gorilla Face. Yeah, exactly. We'll get to the Gorilla issue here in a little bit. One of the games I'm interested in all of them because we're football crazy, but Pittsburgh going to go into Cincinnati, another division game to take on the Bengals. I don't get the feeling that the Bengals have Super Bowl holdover or hangover at all, but I think this is a Steelers team that is kind of in trouble with the quarterback situation. You got people that understand there's a huge drop off now that Roethlisberger is gone. This is a division game. Guys, 12 points could win this game, and it probably won't be Pittsburgh.
Absolutely, it could. Now here's the new Mitch Trubisky era in Pittsburgh, but my caveat is they're launching it in Joe Burrow's neighborhood. And see, they don't know about, all the streets not to go on. So they're going to be right in the alley when they meet the Bengals. They're pissed about the Super Bowl loss. They figured they should have won that. I think this team is going to be one to surprise people coming out the gate.
Well, it could be. And if they're going to open up, they might as well open up at home with a division win against the Steelers. I mean, how better to start your season than with a win against one of your division rivals at home? Another team's going to, we'll get to that in a minute, but another team's going to open up with a division win on the road. So maybe not on the road, sort of on the road. But back to the Buffalo V and Cap. I rewatched the Super Bowl. The back to the Bills Rams. Bills can run every play that the Bengals ran against that the Bengals executed against the Rams in the Super Bowl, and then some. And the Rams only won that game by 3 points. So another reason why I like the Bills, I just think they're more firepower on offense than even what Rams saw against Cincinnati in the Super Bowl. Cap, you in or out on the Tiger Stripes?
I'm actually I'm in for this game, but I actually agree with Ed Winchell. I think that the Bengals are gonna come back down to earth. I actually think that the Ravens are the best team in that division, and
I agree with you on that front.
It's going to come down to the Bengals and the Steelers figuring out if one of those teams is going to go back to the playoffs, and it's not necessarily going to be Cincinnati in a full dose. Yeah. I think that Pittsburgh will get them later on in Pittsburgh, and I'll take them there. But I think for the first game, for what was going on, Bengals are full of themselves, and I think they're going to do some puffy chess. I'll take the Bengals this time.
Yeah, I agree with you, and that's exactly how I feel about it. Is I'll take the Bengals this time, and it's only because the Steelers are still iffy at quarterback. This is Mitch Trubisky we're talking about, not pick somebody else. Joe Namath, anybody, maybe not a Hall of Famer, but pick somebody else who's a good quarterback, not a Hall of Famer.
Not even Pickett.
Yeah, well, I would have started Pickett. You might as well get him going. You might as well introduce him to the rival right now. Let's go.
And by the end of the year, maybe. But I actually think that Trubisky played and is going to be a very good asset for the Steelers. I think that you might not even see Pickett until the end of the year. I think that Pickett's going to ascend to that number 2 spot over Mason Rudolph. That's a guarantee. Right now, he's at number 3. I think that when they finally figure out that Rudolph is just some guy that shares the name with the reindeer, he's going to be lost for a roster spot.
Yeah,
and they're gonna jettison him to have Pickett as the number 2. Let him learn alongside Trubisky. And Pickett might not see the field much this year. Trubisky can play with that team in that offense. I think that he'll be fine for the Steelers there.
Well, a couple of news out of Pittsburgh, Cap, is I think that Pickett already has been elevated to number 2 spot. At least that's my understanding. I could be wrong.
Tomlin said that was a typo.
Oh, okay. Well, I got to quit reading quit reading the news. The second thing, that's a really cool cup you got there, V. But the second thing is, they're gonna retire. They're going to retire number 32's jersey. Did you guys know that?
Yeah.
Oh no.
It's the 50th. It's a 50th anniversary. Well, not yet, but it will be this year. The 50th anniversary because it was in December. But it's the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Deception. And so they're going to celebrate that whole thing. They even going to have a special patch for crying out loud. I'm like, really? Anyway. Since he hasn't lost any major pieces, AFC title gives them more confidence. Burrow is a stud thrower. Yeah, wouldn't disagree with all that. I think Cincinnati, like Cap says, I'm going to take Cincinnati this one time. We'll see about next week. Philadelphia going to go into Detroit, take on the Lions. There are two potential trap games, I think, this week. This one more so than the other one. But this could be a trap game for Philly if Hurts doesn't take the game over for Philadelphia. And if he takes the game over, Philadelphia plays their game, they should come away with the win. The worst case scenario for Philadelphia in a division that they could win is to go into Detroit, get beat, and get a bunch of people hurt in week 1, right?
That would be disastrous. Yeah. Even with that grit of Detroit, I'm waiting to see that put on display in a real game. Yeah. But I'm giving the edge to Philly. They quietly had a great offseason, some nice acquisitions.
Yeah.
And, like I say, we've seen that quarterback in person. Yeah. And he is the real deal to me.
He is.
Like I say.
Yeah. And I just don't think, and I know we had some discussion last week about the Lions. I just don't think Jared Goff is going to get it done, even though the Lions overall might be improved. We're still talking Jared Goff here. I think Trubisky does better for Pittsburgh than Goff does for the Lions, and Goff's been established with Detroit already. Trubisky has 2 now as a starter. Now as a starter. You never know. Indianapolis going to go into Houston to take on the Texas, another division game. Everybody gets high on the Colts for all kinds of reasons, and then the Colts tend tend to, stumble out of the stable, so to speak. So division game for them on the road. Can they get the win in Houston?
I'm saying yes, and I'm putting all my cash on Matt Ryan and the Colts. The Colts really didn't lose a lot of firepower, so to speak. That defense is still tenacious, and they could just keep it on the ground, really, and control the tempo of the game. Houston is a young, upstarting team with a new coaching staff and all that stuff. So I'm just giving the edge to Matt Ryan. His veteran leadership, along with what they had left on the rest of Indy, no brainer.
So Damian says, I think the Texans may have one of the best secondaries in the league. I'm going to have to look that up. I'm not saying he's wrong, but if that's the case, Ryan may be in for a long day. But they got the running game. Defense is solid. I like Indianapolis on the road in Houston. Hey, Cap, there's one for you. It says, I was wondering why you left the Wild Wild West show. Well, because you had to come on this show.
Got to make it over here on time. Got to do it. Got to do it.
Who are your guests? Is that Violator? You can't make this up. I can understand it.
No, wait a second. I am a guest here on Coach and Violator's show. So get it right. This is Coach and Violator's show with, I'm always like that extra, like you got Ref Guru, you got Violator, and then you got with Captain Jack. And I don't mind that because those are the gentlemen right here. This is the show that shows everybody what the hell you've been missing in the NFL last week and next week. So make sure you're here.
You're too modest, brother. I'm going to tell you that. You're one of the cornerstones of this, so put it out there like it is.
Hey, that 25 bingo cross means something.
That's right.
And if you're out there and you want to know what it is, you can find out over time. But
stay tuned.
That is, we're not making that up. That is a real thing.
I got you, but like I said, I said I am here with you because of respect, and this is a great show to be on. I want everybody to know that. Now, like I said, we got SoCal Slime who's in the house, the Chargers fan. We've got a couple other people in here. Make sure people know about this show so that you get your NFL fix every friggin' week.
That's it.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Starting next week, we're gonna find out what's going on, and then we're gonna talk about week 2. So, yeah. Another division game. The Patriots going to go into Miami, take on the Dolphins. I like Miami all the way on this one. I think the Patriots will give them a fight, but I think the Dolphins, I want to like the Dolphins. I don't know what I got with the Dolphins, quite frankly. I just don't know if the head coach there, to me, is a little bit of a head scratcher, maybe literally. I don't think he'll get out coached, but he might. In that case, he's going to need his players to outplay New England. New England's pretty solid. But I just like the Dolphins be fired up enough to come out and win this. And what do you guys think? Can the Patriots come out of Miami with an accidental win?
It will be accidental. It's going to be too damn hot. First of all, they're going to
put the Patriots in the blue jerseys.
In that blue, in that Patriot blue, and they're going to be burning up, sweltering. That's why this game always intrigues me. I'm just giving Miami, they've got that firepower now, and they've got a certain animal now on their squad that's supposed to be fast as lightning. So, I think the offensive firepower should be interesting between Tua and Mac Jones. It should be an interesting matchup, but I'm giving the edge to Miami because of humidity and swamp weather.
Yeah. I give it to Miami over humility. Along with the humidity, because the humility is there. There's no humility when you bring the cheetah in there, but you do got Tua throwing to the cheetah. You got Tua throwing to his shipmate from Alabama, Waddle. Yep. And that's where you got to remember. It's not just cheetah. It's that Tua does have that Alabama rapport with Waddle. And Gesicki is one of the better tight ends in football. Now, Miami didn't really play well when the Raiders played them in the preseason. And, thank God it was a little bit later in the day. And I said, thank God. But if it's a 1 o'clock game in Miami,
Yeah.
Katie barred the door. There's
Yeah.
not enough. There's not enough buckets to carry all the sweat that's going to be coming from under the balls of the Patriots that are on the field. And
Are those going to be
I'll give
deflated
it to
balls?
Miami.
You talking about
Sir?
game? Never mind. It's the kid show. No, but yeah, no, I get you, and I totally and I hear you. We've got 2 more games to talk about to close out the AM games, and we'll take a break. Come back for the second half of the show to talk about the PM games. But before we do that, because we go, I'm going to give you guys out there in the chat an assignment, and the one who wins the assignment is going to win one of these awesome, you can see it, mugs from Steel Creations. Now you can't put these in the microwave because this is steel coated in some sort of polymer. But these things are absolutely, yeah, exactly. Ceramic. Thank you. These things are awesome. You're going to love it. It'll be your favorite mug. It has NFL Nation Live logo on one side, and it's going to have either Violator or Ref Guru's logo on the other side. We're going to ship you one of these for free, but it's going to be to the person who on the internet or in our chat room can come up with the secret number that is in my logo. So start taking down the internet by Googling Ref Guru and my logo, and the first one to put into the chat the secret number that's hidden in my logo will win. Yeah, you already know. But I'll tell you this: once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Right.
For that.
Absolutely.
And then we'll explain the why. Baltimore are going to go into New York to take on the Jets. Is this a trap game for the Ravens, or are the Jets in big trouble? Remember, we put the Jets on the clock last week, and we haven't even played a game yet. No, one of the things we do on the show is we're going to put teams on the clock. And let me tell you something, guys. Everybody that we put on the clock last year missed the playoffs. We're the only show on the internet in the broadcasting universe that puts teams on the clock early, because the NFL is like, on any given Sunday. Let me tell you what, if you're 0-4, you're forked up, and we're going to put you on the clock. Last year, we put every team on the clock, and everybody missed the playoffs. So on this show, you'll find out who's in out early, what's going to happen in New York, and I'm afraid to ask because I think it's going to be a Ravens beatdown.
I agree with you absolutely.
They're starting Joe Flacco, for crying out loud.
Flacco, you took the word. Flacco is a starting QB. So what does that tell you? Wilson is out. Who knows? They're not going to tell us because they don't even know. But even with Lamar and his contract situation, that defense for the Ravens is just going to put the Jets on the ground, so to speak. They're going to ground all flights out of, was it Newark? What's the airport there in New York?
I don't know.
LaGuardia.
It doesn't matter if it's LaGuardia, JFK, or even if you go back to call it Idlewild, the Jets are going to be grounded.
That's my Super Bowl winning quarterback. Yeah, well, Flacco got lucky. So did Dilger, for that matter.
Yeah,
but
Trent
anyway.
Dilfer. Yeah.
Or Dilfer. Yeah, sorry.
Dilfer.
Jets will do damage this year, probably to their own locker room. Would be my guess. But anyway, Richard J's got it going on, man. You can't argue with that guy. Flacco is he's a lot of things. Name of Dead is better than Flacco. Yeah, maybe.
Not dead, dude. He's not dead yet. He still wants to have a kiss from Susie Colbert.
Yep,
still?
absolutely.
God, you'd think they would get over that. All right. I don't see anybody in the chat yet with the secret number. But in any case, Jacksonville to finish out the 10 o'clock games. Oh, by the way, in New England, Miami, I think the referee for that game is John Hussey. I know you guys aren't really into the refs part of it, but we are on this show because it matters. Yeah. Because it absolutely matters. But the divisional games this week got the better officiating crews. And thank God 99 isn't here, for crying out loud. Jacksonville going to go into Washington to take on the Commanders. This is really a toss-up game, and a game that really doesn't matter. If Jacksonville wins, great. If Washington wins, great. If Washington loses and Dallas loses, even if Philadelphia wins, week one, it's an interconference game this early in the season. It probably doesn't matter. But I'll tell you what, I think we'll learn more about Jacksonville in this game than we will about Washington. What do you guys think?
I agree with that. I'm taking Washington again, based solely on home field advantage. This is Jacksonville's new era, that new start for Golden Boy there. And we just got to see. But like I say, I think Washington has more veteran or just a better coaching staff. Put it that way.
We have a winner.
And
we have a
no
winner.
Kidding.
Yeah,
right.
Jay says the number 7. You're absolutely right.
That's my girl from South Carolina, baby.
If you look at my logo, it's got the number 7 in there. The reason why it's built into there is because you work on a 7-man crew in college, but also in the NFL. So that is so. The winner, send me your. Awesome. I'll put it in the chat. Send shipping info to NFLNationLive@gmail.com. I gotta learn how to type. Jeez. I gotta learn how to type.
Jay is the folks with this wonderful shirt here, the South Carolina crew repping, and great ladies at PRJ. And you know what? This is I'm sorry, this has got to be the best t-shirt going, man.
Well, I don't know. Ours are pretty good. Yeah, no, I hear you.
Other than ours. I gotta say that.
Gotcha.
Congrats, Jay. So I think that's awesome, man.
Yeah, Jay. So Jay, I think I have it right. Send me your shipping information to NFLNationLive@gmail.com. We'll get these mugs are custom made, so to order. So it'll take a little bit to get there, but I'll get it ordered and we'll get it out to you. Thank you for participating and congratulations. Awesome. You're gonna love that mug. Absolutely.
It's easy as that. It's just that easy, guys. So hey, let's come have some fun, get a little info, poke fun at each other, but let's just bring everybody together, and this is what it's about.
Okay. We've all pretty much through the morning schedule. We've got the afternoon schedule, the Sunday night, Monday night games. Let's take a quick break. So I can get a Gatorade, and we'll be right back. I'm going to shut the chat off just during the break, y'all, and then we'll come back for that. That T-shirt will scare my kids. Yeah, well, we did our job.
Absolutely.
For God's sake, don't show it to your cat. Never mind. Never mind. We'll be back after the break. All right, welcome back, everybody, to NFL Nation Live. We've taken care of the morning games. I'm going to turn the chat back on so everybody can catch up. Wayne Mabry says, welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Okay, cool. Yeah, thanks for joining us. The New York Giants are going to go into Tennessee and get their ass kicked by the Titans. Anybody got any comment on that one? I mean, that's going to be ugly.
No argument there. And they probably won't even play the guy named with 22 on his back.
Really? Not even for the first half? They'll be up 42-0 by the first quarter, so maybe they won't have to.
His uniform would be clean all day. I don't even see the need. Why are we even talking about this one? But, I know. But anyway, I'm taking Tennessee at home, of course, and they're just
don't put yourself out there, V. I mean, if you're going to gamble on somebody, yeah.
Hey, it's not a gamble.
I think it's going to be a laugher.
It's not a gamble.
Right.
That's the number, Ref 2022. I have no idea what you meant, Ed, but thanks for that.
I think Ed is still trying to win that mug that Jay won.
Oh, well, we already had the winner, but don't worry, we're going to be giving away more mugs. Scrap. I mean, stuff. We got stuff. We got good stuff. We're going to give away so much stuff on this show. You're just gonna have to tune in to find it all. But don't worry, if you're loyal to us, we'll be loyal to you. We'll figure out a way for you to snag some swag, because that's what we're gonna do on the show. So, Cap, you in on the Giants or Titans?
Oh, I was trying to figure out who the hell the Titans were playing, because I didn't even hear
the Giants.
Who it was, but I was like,
the New York Football Giants. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I think that the Giants that Rick Moranis coached would have a better opportunity to beat Tennessee than the real Giants.
Oops.
Oh,
Did I do that? Sorry. I hear you on that front. I'm trying to keep up with all the cool people in the chat.
oh
If I
yeah.
misspell your name, my bad.
Keep it hot.
Okay.
I'm loving it.
Kansas City going to go into Arizona to take on the Cardinals. This may be the most challenging game, really, in my opinion, to pick for the week. It's because it's not a division game. It's an interconference game. It's a game that really doesn't matter, so to speak. We know that all games matter, but the reality is, folks, you got to win. You're trying to win your home games, win your division games, win the division title, get the home game, blah, blah, blah. Interconference games, AFC, NFC games, I don't know how important they really are, especially on the road. So which way this is a challenging one. And there was quite a discussion on, the Wild Wild West show about this game as well. And a lot of good content about the over under on who's going to start early, who's going to play well. I think the Cardinals, if they're going to win this game, are going to have to go up 14-0, 17-0, something like that. And then try to run the ball, run the clock. But I just don't know if the Cardinals can pull off a win, even against the Chiefs team, which we know has still a lot of question marks going into week one. Their timing might be off. The defense has question marks. But then again, maybe it's not so much about the players executing the game plan. Maybe it's actually the game plan itself. So from that standpoint, from the coaching standpoint, who's going to have the better game plan? If we're going to go that discussion, I like the Cardinals. If you're just going to put 22 guys against 22 guys on any given Sunday in Arizona in a game that really doesn't matter, so to speak, because and in an environment that is totally controlled, it could be 142 degrees outside, doesn't matter because the game is basically indoors.
Probably will be too.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So the environment really doesn't matter. I sort of like the Chiefs to eke out a win, but it could be a good one. But I think if it's going to be a good one, then it has to be Cardinals up early with a Chiefs comeback. What do you guys think?
I'm that word. I'm going to steal that word, eke. The Chiefs will eke out a victory here. Tyler's missing a couple of his weapons, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And
well, D-Hop for one, right?
Yeah, that was the main weapon. And where is his head really when it comes
that's exactly right. I think Murray's enough to win this game for the Cardinals, but he had the offseason issues, and then they had this whole thing about, you got to study 4 hours a week to do whatever bullshit that was. Doesn't matter. But I agree with you, V. I think the psyche of Kyler Murray is what hangs in the balance for the Cardinals. If he's all in and he plays his game, they're going to kick the Chiefs' ass. If he goes out there and starts around not getting the job done, then I think you're going to leave the door open, let the Chiefs hang around, and I think they're going to get beat.
And I think if they fall behind early, he may just close up shop. You know what I mean? Mentally
he might. Yeah, actually. Yeah. Okay.
So,
Cap, what do you think? I know there's a lot of discussion on Wild Wild West. Have you come to a conclusion based on that?
Yeah, you know what? Well, actually, a lot of it was Alex was talking, so I just kind of tuned my ears out. But that's a joke.
Yeah, because we got nothing to say.
Yeah. The thing is that
Sub Hollywood
with D-Hop out, and with the fact that Kirk is now on the Jaguars, who overpaid for every wide receiver they could this year, there's going to be a little bit of a letdown in the Cardinals' offense. But thank God, and I do say this in tongue in cheek, thank God that they went out and got Marquise Brown, because they would have been really hurt at the wide receiver position. So I think that with him there, and the fact that the Cardinals are always ascending in the beginning of the year, and then they kind of like fall like a bird, an angry bird, out of the sky, at the back end of the year. It's going to be a close game, but I just think the Chiefs got a little bit too much for the Birds.
Yeah, I think you're right. As much as we'd like to get some help from Arizona this week, I don't think we're going to get it. But I'm not sure we're going to need it. quite frankly, because I don't. The Chiefs are going to struggle, and they're not going to look like they're going to struggle because the AFC West could be a 3-team shootout after week 1. If the Chiefs get the win, I'm sorry, 2-team because
2-team, yeah.
No, 3 teams: Raiders, Chiefs, and Broncos. I mean, the Broncos they're gonna beat Seattle. Russell Wilson's not going to go into Seattle and get beat by the Seahawks. It's not going to happen. I'll stake my entire football reputation on that, which isn't really very big. But anyway, so so let's go with that. The game of the week and the one that needs the most attention, the another division game, Las Vegas is going to go into LA and play the Chargers. There was a lot of discussion on Wild Wild West show about home game, not a home game. We all know it's a Raider home game. Chargers are playing at home, but that doesn't make it a Chargers home game. Are we clear now? All right. So that said, let's talk about the game, and then let's talk about the other issue that's been primarily been flagshipped by Rillo, right? But let's talk about the game first. My take on this is there's been a lot of hype back and forth, and everybody talk about everything about the AFC West. It's all valid, absolutely all valid. But the Charger, this is not the Raiders team that the Chargers have any idea how to play now. The only thing that's really the same, so to speak, for the Chargers facing the Raiders in reality is Derek Carr. But Derek's totally different now. If he can hit the targets that he has, they have no idea. They have no idea how to play Devontae Adams. They have no idea how Josh McDaniels is going to gameplay against them. So I don't normally do this, but I'm going to predict that the Raiders are going to go in there, blow the Chargers out, and it will be the most significant statement win, maybe for the Raiders under Derek Carr, but specifically for the Raiders-Chargers rivalry that we've seen in a long time. Take it away, guys.
I'm going to take that, and I'm going to run with it. And I'm going to raise you too. What I'm seeing is a sort of a repeat of the intensity from the last home game in Las Vegas, but this is another home game for us here. And I'm just excited to see. And Sultan, I'm going to give you had a valid point right there. That screen game will probably nullify all of that Bosa, Mac, pass rush, blah, blah,
50
blah.
who? 50 who? Get it right.
Yeah. 50
That's
who?
the point.
Yeah, my bad.
That's the
My
point.
bad.
If you run away from Bosa and you throw the screens and make 50 who chase you. Now that doesn't mean that the Chargers don't have everything that they deserve on offense. If they want to take over the middle and run the ball up the middle, they're going to do that all the damn day because our strength is on defensive ends. And if they want to collapse that, trying to run up the middle, fine. Which makes me all the more reason why we should have gone to a 3-4 in the first place. But that's another discussion. But I just don't know. This is not there's not a win for the Raiders because the Raiders defense plays well against the Chargers offense. It's because the Raiders offense is going to absolutely annihilate that Chargers defense. They're just going to absolutely kick their ass. If they want to go out there and all this hype and all this crap that's been going on in Las Vegas since the last offseason and all these videos we're seeing and all this blah, 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 you know what? Then go out there and do it. They've got the players, they got the coaching staff, they got the abilities to be able to do it. Now I'm more confident in our core of players and coaches than I've been on this team for a long time. Right. Now, if it goes out there and beats them by 3 points, okay, fine. Like Cap said in Wild Wild West show, 1 point or 50 points will take the win. But I think the Raiders have a chance here to put the rest of the division on notice and start playing for that number 2 spot in the AFC on their way to Buffalo for the AFC Championship game. And I know it's only week 1. Cap, go.
I love it. In week 1.
No, and I said I'm going to be a little bit more restrained than I was earlier when Coach.
Not on this show. Save that for Richie's show.
Okay. Well, okay. You know what? And I'm trying not to cuss out of respect. But when you piss me the F off and start saying, and I've been hearing Coach chirp, 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 chirp for weeks and weeks and weeks on end. Okay. I've been hearing it. And I'm being the stalwart professional that I was up until the point that he called it a home game for the Chargers, and now I just had to go off. The Chargers have a good team. The Chargers do have a good team.
Yeah.
But like I said, and it's been said in here, the Raiders under McDaniel know how to beat the Chargers. The Chargers are still suspect in running or stopping the run. I don't care who the hell they picked up. And it's
they don't know anything about this White kid, right? They know Jacobs and Drake. Drake's not there.
Right.
Yeah. They don't know anything about this.
It's Zeus White. It's Bolden for a spell. It's Amir Abdullah catching those passes and everybody catching the passes, screen passes, dumps over the middle, the running game, the precision when they start sucking up for the running backs, then it's going to be that seam pattern to Waller, a button hook to Renfro, or dare say a 9 pattern for Adams, okay? And if they're sucking up on Adams, you know what? I would like to see a 9 pattern for Tyron Johnson, who played for the Chargers before we picked him up.
That's right.
As a way to say to you,
salute.
Chargers, okay? I think, like I said, I would love to see a out and out ass whooping, because I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there, and there's nothing else better to me than see an ass whooping. And actually, Mike Sarah is correct. Right now, Bolden is going to be playing more than Zeus White. Because he knows the offense.
Well, I get that. But that I'll tell you what, that kid's lurking, and the Raiders are going to use him, and the teams are going to be like, what the hell? I'm just telling you right now. You can see it. You can absolutely see it. That said, you said you're going to be at the game. I suspect you both are. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is this whole BS about Gorilla, and all whoever else not getting in because of masks and face paint and all that other stuff. Do we have an update from last week, or is it the same as last week?
You know, since that hit out there, it's been quiet on my end, like crickets. But that also makes me a little nervous about what would transpire when we actually hit the turnstiles. Me personally, I'm not so much worried. You know, they kind of know, hey, look, man, this guy, you know, I got the business when they were in San Diego. So I'm old news.
Yeah.
You know, I was always against the wall and had to halfway undress just to go in, but they never stopped me from getting in. And when we won, they heard about it. So
you got to appreciate the fact that every time you go to one of their games, you can get your annual physical. So your prostate must be pretty good.
Actually, keep that prostate in. Yeah, they're going to check that for sure.
So their comment in there is like, Rilla can go to the game, just not in uniform. James has said that. Is that fact, or are we just
I think it's a headgear, personally. I think it's a headgear because I was with him when he went through his fiasco last season. And, you know, he eventually got in, but once he got in, I'm like, man, put your headgear on, because look around at all these, what's that, Libra, whatever the wrestler is, all those masks and all kind of heads.
The Nacho Libre.
The Nacho Libre.
Yeah.
I was counted at least 20, and I'm like, put your head on, man. And as soon as he did that, we got a visit from the commissioner. So I'm like, look at the timing, man. So that's going to continue, guys. We just got to be vigilant. You're not keeping us out.
Well, no, and I think you should keep the pressure on, because that's what they want, is for it to go away. And if you don't make it go away, then they can't make it go away. And if they can't make it go away, then they're going to have to eventually address it. And at some point,
and some of the people that are old enough, Cap, and Jack, you were there. You remember the 3-ticket rule. You had to buy that game and 2 more games.
2 other games,
just to get in there.
This. Oh, I'm going to say shit now, because that's I'm going to get my S out. They've been doing this shit for years. Chargers want to keep Raider fans out of that state. And that's why they were talking about, the Chargers have a fan. No, they don't. No, they don't. They haven't had a fan base in a while. And they won't have a fan base in the stadium that Stan Kroenke owns. Okay? It's crap. So again, the Raiders are going to overrun that stadium. And like I said, if they say that Rilla can't come in because of it, okay, tuck it under like a helmet and then put it right the F back on when he comes in.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then make it, then make them take you out. But there's good information in the chat to just print a mask.
Right? OG Daniel said that. A couple other people said that. Make sure that all you do is get a picture of Gorilla, Xerox it, put 2 holes in it, and either put some friggin' tape or some string or something like that.
Yeah.
Everybody wear the mask. Now, I will admit this. I am not going to wear that mask, but I do have something special for SoFi, and I am sitting front row, corner end zone, and you guys should be able to see this. If the TV cameras don't pick it up, I'm sure print media will. I got something prepared for SoFi, and F you Chargers.
I'll be watching for it, but this is good. The other option is, the COVID mask. You could print mini stuff on the COVID mask. I know it's not the same thing, but it's the FU message that we're trying to send that is really I think what prevails here. But I think it's unfortunate that we're supposed to be entertainment, but then when we want to do entertainment, they don't want that. I'm like, well, what's the double standard among other things? Yeah. Cool. Looks like there's a lot of people going to be there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm looking at that.
So I'm going to go all in on the Raiders bandwagon. And you guys know how I feel about Derek Carr. We've been back and forth with all that over the course of the last 4 years on this show. But this week I'm going to go all in on the Raiders. I'm going to go with the butt kicking. I'm going to take the Raiders on the road at home against the Chargers. Does that make any sense? Green Bay going to go into Minnesota, take on the Vikings. Look, if the Vikings won a division title, this is the year to get it. The Packers would appear on paper to be a little messed up because obviously Devonta Adams is gone. Actually, Scantling's gone too. So there's some other things that are part of the Packers package that aren't there. But then Minnesota maybe doesn't know what to do. The problem in Minnesota is the same problem Minnesota's always had, same problem they're always going to have as long as Kirk Cousins is quarterback. So when you have a Kirk Cousins-led Vikings team or any other team for that matter going up against Aaron Rodgers, I want to like the Packers on the road in Minnesota to get the division win. I'm concerned that the Packers can't light up the scoreboard maybe as well as Minnesota could. So Minnesota plays some defense. I think the Packers are going to struggle. But if the Packers get the running game going, if they get the dual running game going, they had a couple of backs last year, I think, that had 1,000 yards each. That's the key for them to win this game, and then let Aaron Rodgers beat you from 40 yards out or whatever. But this game scares me for Green Bay to potentially open up the season with the loss against the Vikings. But we live in a Packers house, so I'm going to have to go with the Cheeseheads. But what do you guys think?
Well,
I'm nervous about that game.
I know you are too, and I know Jill's and Mom is probably listening too. But I'm taking the Pack to take care of Minnesota. Minnesota's problem is going to be trying to shut down their running game to make them one-dimensional, and they're going to really put Rodgers to the test with his new receivers, his new crop of receivers. That's going to be the interesting part of the game. Now, that strategy backfires, Minnesota's in a world of hurt. But I am taking the Pack on the road in that one. That was a question from Jack. I was trying to find that.
Yeah, he was asking. I think he asked you your most memorable game because I saw it a couple different times.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just like, what question? But my most memorable game. Wow, man, that's been so many over. That I was at.
Well,
I'd have to always say my standard answer is our championship game
against the Titans.
Yes. Yeah. And what transpired that day. But that's get the book and you find all that. It's in the book.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's exactly to read about right there. You can't make that stuff up. But that's
a good book. We're going to be giving away a lot.
Yeah, that's one of the prizes.
If you haven't gotten it already, there you go. If he has one and I have one, where's yours?
Yeah. Well, you can get your own copy. A lot of places. Amazon is one place. Or you can keep coming back to this show and hope you can win a copy of Wayne's book. We're going to be giving away a lot of stuff, including a copy of Amy Trask's book, You Negotiate Like a Girl. Brian Gushu's book, Grass is Always Greener,
Grass
along
is
with a
Always
lot of other prizes. So Richie Riche, the comments on my screen are gone, but Richie Riche had a comment in there about the masks, which I think his comment was that, they're not allowing Raiders fans to wear masks, but you could wear COVID masks or whatever. So the problem I think that we're talking about here is this mask policy, which flies in the face of a mask policy that you can pick and choose what your mask policy is. I think they got to fix that before they start addressing this arbitrary, no, you could wear that, but no, you can't wear that.
Right.
Like,
and I think it's enforced.
I don't know. Everybody just go in there and identify as a Charger fan and whip out your Raider stuff after you get through the game.
Well, I want to say, in all fairness, that this has been a policy for that stadium when it came out, and Bolt guy was told that he was not going to be allowed to wear his mask, and he retired. Bolt guy retired.
Yeah.
But there was some dude wearing that mask last year during
there
the
was.
game.
Yeah.
There was that same guy that might not have been him, but somebody was wearing that mask because he retired, and somebody took up the mantle and was wearing that mask. And that's why I'm saying, if they're going to allow him to wear that mask, you're going to have Nacho Libre wear his mask. Tell everybody they're not going to kick everybody out if you're wearing a mask or face paint or things like that. Make sure you got your Gorilla, fake Xerox paper in front of you. Do that. And like I said, I'm going to have a mask on, but his cause will be duly represented by what I got going on. Trust me, I already figured it out.
If they don't fix this, if I was Mark Davis and the Chargers didn't fix this, then I would say that everybody coming to a Raiders game in Las Vegas that thinks is a Charger fan has to wear white pants and a white shirt. Or black pants and a black shirt, whatever. Tampa Bay going to go into Dallas and take on the Cowboys. This is the Cowboys team that is, hasn't been to the Super Bowl for a while. I think there's been 11 Super Bowls won by NFC teams since Dallas won a Super Bowl. I mean, the Packers have 2, Giants have 2, Tampa Bay has 2. Somebody else has 2. Seahawks have won 1.
They got 1.
Or the Rams have won 2. Seahawks have won 1. Eagles have won 1. I mean, it's crazy. But this is Dallas's year if they want to make it so. But they're going to have trouble in their own division. But week 1, they're going to get out from underneath a team that they beat last year. I think they beat Tampa Bay, right? Didn't they beat Tampa Bay last year?
Yeah.
But in any case, this is a Brady-led team with a lot of injuries. I think the injuries that have faced Tampa Bay, particularly on the offensive line, actually level this game up a little bit in the Cowboys' favor. So I actually like Dallas at home. I don't honestly think that Brady's lost a little bit. I think he's been losing a little bit for a while. The other changeover is I just don't know how the Brady Bulls thing is going to go. I don't think it's going to go as well as the Brady Arians. And I think it just has to do with philosophy. I think Todd Bowles is a great coach. I think he's an excellent coach, but he's a defensive coach. And I don't know if he's going to let Brady run the show in Tampa like Fox gave Peyton the show in Denver. If he does, okay, Tampa Bay probably does well. But remember, Tampa Bay is also now without Gronkowski. So I think that with the issues that are facing Tampa Bay, I like Dallas at home.
I like Dallas at home too, but like I say, both teams have some offensive woes. I think Dallas's defense now in that second year in that whole scheme that they run with Parsons leading the charge, I think Brady's going to either have to have some kind of mobile wheels on his shoes to get out of the way. Yeah. I see him taking a lot of hits in this one.
What do you think, Cap?
I'm sorry. I wanted to make sure I put out to everybody in the chat. Like I said, you're watching this simulcast on my channel, but make sure you actually subscribe to NFL Nation Live. I put the link up. Make sure you hit the link. You're watching it on my channel. Thank you
Thanks,
for doing
Cap.
that. But make sure you subscribe to Ref's channel, period. Thank you. Now,
Thank you,
as
Cap.
far as the fake Pirates, because again, I get a belly full of this. I got to say, I get a belly full of this shit living here in Tampa Bay. I'm sorry. When I get that bile worked up, coach, my mouth goes on, regular
That's okay.
chief mode, not Kansas City chief mode, but Navy
Yeah.
chief mode. Okay.
Copy that.
I just got to say it. Okay. Living here and have to listen to all of the crap that I have to hear from these people that have no clue who the frigging quarterback was before he who shall not be named, who has a model that is a female Skeletor wife, okay, and that couldn't even begin to name who played quarterback before him or who the coach was before Bruce Arians or all this other things like that, okay? They're so full of it. And I'm not a big cow patty fan. But here it is.
Avocado ice cream.
There you go.
Sorry.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
But
All right.
I firmly believe that going into Texas Stadium and knowing that their fan base, who is hungrier than almost as hungry as us, I'm going to say almost as hungry as us, okay, for that Sunday night game in the world, in Jerry's world, it's going to be a good game for the Cow Patties to win.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, with old boy figuring out that he has to figure out what Mrs. Skeletor wants, and by all means, and the fact that she and the kids are already in his head.
Eating avocado ice cream.
Ice cream and no tomatoes either. He won't eat a pizza, because it has tomatoes.
I know,
on
right? What's up with that?
Yeah. What an asshole.
Okay.
Oh, did I say that? Apologies.
Yeah, it's okay.
But the thing is, I say the Cowboys somebody won by 1 point last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it was the Bucks won by 1 point in the home opener for the fake Pirates here in this stadium. I think that game is going to be in the minds of the Cow Patties fans, and they're going to win by a resounding, I want to say, if not quite double digits, it's going to be approaching double digits.
Well, let's hope so. It would be nice. It's going to a Tampa Bay loss and a New Orleans win and an Atlanta loss, Carolina win would just totally flip this whole script on the NFC South.
Sure
We're not even into week 2 yet.
Okay.
Let's back up really quick because I forgot, and my apologies, to talk about the officiating crew for the Raiders game. Sean Smith and his crew are on that. So look, the crew with Brian Neal, Mark Hittner, Mike Dulce, Daryl Pryluke, Clay Renner, Dino Paganelli, pretty good crew. I'm not a Hittner fan. He's been around a long time. He's a hell of a down judge, but he's a Raider, not so much liker. But I don't think there's going to be enough of the rest of the crew where he's going to be able to sneak in some cheap calls. But there's possibility with Hittner is all I'm saying. I'd like to not think that, but he's going to make up for it because Paganelli is a back judge. He's going to be very busy probably on Sunday, and he's probably the best back judge out there. I know Dino, like him a lot. He comes from a long stream of NFL officials, primarily the Patriot. Carl Paganelli was an umpire. Carl Paganelli Jr. was an umpire. Dino's been a deep flank, if you will, field judge, side judge, mostly back judge. And I think there's maybe another Paganelli. So it's a good family, good crews. If you're going to have a back judge out of the people that are out there, if he's not number 1, he's number 2. So pretty decent crew, all things considered. I'm glad we didn't get John Hussey's crew, quite frankly. But in any case, it's pretty obvious why Bill Vinovich is in Minnesota, right?
Oh yeah,
Mr. No Chippy. We knew Vinovich was going to get a division game, and we knew it was probably going to be an NFC games. It's interesting. Vinovich doesn't do a lot of AFC games.
No.
He does a few. When he does, it's usually Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, something like that. But they want him in Minnesota. Okay, I'm going to close the chat.
I got
now.
one question for you there, Ref. I got one for you, and this is something for all.
I know
here.
Brady fumbled. Well,
no.
That's not the question.
That's an obvious one. But now that 99 is gone, and for those who don't have any clue what that is, that is Tony, the living fart that lives in the crack of your ass that smells for 6 months. Corrente is gone.
Nicely, but okay, yeah,
okay.
That's putting it nicely, but okay.
Other than Jerome Boger, because that's the easy answer.
That's the easy answer.
That's the easy answer. Besides Jerome Boger, because he's out of the equation on this one. And Index Card is not there anymore because he's getting paid to be on TV.
Oh,
okay. Who is the worst ref in your estimation? And again, Jerome Boger can't be used because that's the obvious answer. Who is the worst referee in your mind? So that people will know when that guy is reffing the Raiders game that it's going to be a shit show.
John Hussey.
No hesitation.
I knew it was coming, but I wanted to make sure that people remember that name.
No question.
Yep. Hey, if you want me to rank the refs, I can do that on one of the shows. You know, it's interesting too because this year we've got basically a rookie ref in Trey Blake. Is it Blake? Trey Blake? Kind of a rookie ref, if you will. So it'll be interesting to see if we get him this year. I don't know if we will or not, but we'll see.
Be interesting to see. Yeah.
Guru is a former NFL ref and a Raiders fan. Copy that. Yeah. Can you imagine me working a Raiders game? Or me working a Raiders Chargers game?
Why they let
you talk about getting thrown out,
Mr. What was his name? We called him not Showtime, but FaceTime. Mike Carey. No, Mike Carey. Oh, okay. Mike FaceTime Carey from San Diego. Worked the Raiders Chargers game when they had the play where the guy spiked the ball, should have been a fumble. Mike Carey was your referee for that friggin' game from San Diego. And did they win that game on really crappy officiating? The answer is, of course they did.
No. Well, Richie Rich's got a really good question, and I'm not picking on him because all the chat questions are good. So thanks everybody for being in the chat. And again, once again, if we don't acknowledge your chat, that doesn't mean we don't appreciate it. We do try to make sure who is Guru. That's okay. It goes
nice one. Hey,
watch this show long enough, you'll figure it out.
Oh yeah.
We're not laughing at you for the question. We're just laughing because that's a good question actually, because it's funny because I'm actually not even a nobody. But anyway, Richard Chase' question was, do they have refs declare their fandom? And actually, under the table, behind the scenes, they do. But they will never advertise that. They'll never write it down. They'll never acknowledge it. No one will ever tell you anything about that. But they actually do. And there's two aspects of that. The first one is if you live in and or around, especially in, but and or around an NFL city, you actually cannot technically work. Say you live in a suburb of Chicago, you cannot technically work. And I say technically because there's always a way out. But generally speaking, the unwritten rule is you cannot work a Bears game unless you're assigned to the game that the Bears are also playing in, like for the playoffs or Super Bowl. I mean, if you're assigned as the umpire, if you live in outskirts of Chicago and you're selected to be the umpire of the Super Bowl and the Bears go to the Super Bowl, you're going to work the Super Bowl. But generally speaking, if you live in and around an NFL city, now I'll get back to Cap's comment in a moment. You generally are not excluded from working teams in your area, but it's generally frowned upon. Unless there's a Raider component, and they know that there's a way that they can screw the Raiders, then that's how you get the Mike Careys, that's how you get the Walt Colemans, that's how you get all these clowns that do Raider games because they don't care. So there's the unwritten, there's always the Raider rule. V knows there is a Raider rule because I showed him my notes that I took in Dallas, okay, when I was at our NFL clinic, and I wrote it down in our book because they said it in the meeting because they got a guy up there, giving us counseling and all stuff. I wrote it in my book. I think I sent you a picture of it, didn't I, V?
I got it, brother.
Yeah, there's a picture because I wrote it down in my book called The Raider Rule. It's there. It's real. I've been there. I've seen it. I've heard it. I wrote it down. That said, they do ask you to declare your, quote, fandom. The thing about it is many officials never played the game, never really played football, or didn't play it competitively long enough, far enough to actually really become fans. You'd be surprised at how many officials are not really even football aware when it comes to the game itself. They're football aware from an officiating perspective, but not from the actual game perspective. So there's a good percentage of officials that don't have, quote, an allegiance because they're not really, quote, football fans. And I was surprised at that when I got in there. Now, there's obviously a subset that are either have played the game. There may even be former players. We have some officials, one or two, I think, that were former players. So there's always the other end of the spectrum. But you do have to declare your fandom, and they also take into account where you live as part of the officiating assignments. When it gets challenging is because they move the crews around every year. Every year the crews get rotated around. You stay with the same crew for basically that year, but each off season they rotate the crew members around to give exposure to working with other officials and other referees, blah, blah, blah. So it makes it very challenging. But in the past, they have tried to dutifully be fair about that. In reality, is it fair? No. But they can claim that on paper it is, and we have to live with that. That makes so much sense. Yeah. Okay, cool. I wasn't reading comments while I was talking, so if I missed something, say I will play more disciplined ball under McDaniels. But you're right. And here's why that comment's important. The comment says we will play more disciplined ball under McDaniels, but the refs still gonna screw us when they can.
Yeah.
Yes, to a point, but when you play more disciplined ball, not only are you going to take away the dumb mistakes like false starts and and crap like that, but when you play more disciplined ball, the refs will respect that initially, and that will be in your favor initially because they won't have it in their mindset, oh, I'm going to have contact downfield, I might as well get my flag ready. So there is a mindset that goes with that can dictate through the process. I think what we have to do is take a look at the plays for Raider games during the season, see if we're seeing a pattern develop like we've seen in the past, like we saw under John Gruden, and we talked about that on this show. We can talk about that again under McDaniels, and maybe we can get word to McDaniels if we spot something that says, hey, they're picking on you here for this and that, quit doing that. But it gets more challenging when you get into weeks like 14 through 17, and then you start making the playoffs. That's when you have to really start buckling. You've given the officials all this mumbo jumbo in weeks 1 through 13. You're stuck with it. So you're right. We will play better disciplined ball that will transcend into better officiated games. But the other component here that's not necessarily been talked about with the officiating is that we are starting to, I know it's hard to believe, but we are starting to attrition out all the old guard that had some stick up their butt about the Raiders. There's still a few holdovers. But a lot of the new officials that are coming in don't know anything about the Raiders or their past history or anything like that. So a lot of this the comments about tightening up the discipline is important because what that is doing is teaching the new officials that we're not the bad guys that everybody thought we were. Okay, so this is important. So those comments are important, and we need to get that message back to the team that the hard work that they're doing on the better discipline and all that kind of stuff will pay dividends down the road. It'll take some time, but it's a two-way street. The Raiders have to do better, but then they'll attrition out the other officials, and then they won't have that history, that carryover history, and things will never even out totally, but they will be better. And I've seen that, and we'll see if that plays out as we look over the next couple of seasons and we attrition out a couple of more officials that we want to see get out of the system. Hussey, Hittner, a couple of the others. So let's give it a chance. And I'd like to be positive that we can see some growth and improvement here. But again, I wrote it down. There's a Raiders rule, and probably when we least expect it, it'll come back to haunt us, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. McDaniels needs to prove that he can overcome. Huh?
I love the McCringleberry comment. You know, that was awesome.
I didn't see that one.
It was good. That cracked me up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was there?
Sorry,
was there a penalty for 3 pumps? I think it said something like that.
Yeah. It's like if you have the 3 pumps on the touchdown,
would it be a flag?
Then there should be a flag. Yeah, it's an old comedy sketch there, Ref.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay. What was the other? Doing that, he will be seen eventually as the reason. I'm not sure what you meant by that comment, but
you was talking about McDaniels.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Is there a wait a minute? Is there a flag for 3 pumps? Oh, well, it depends.
Like I said, if you can do the 2 pumps, but the minute you start for that third one, and that official is ready with that flag, he was waiting for that third pump, and as soon as he got the third pump, then that flag went in the air, and that's for the McCringleberry touchdown.
Interesting.
Yeah, that cracked me up. Good one, Matthew. Love it.
Just to have Crosby accidentally run into the crappy refs. Well. Yeah, I'd like to see that. Thank God you can't do that because Correnti's gone. Correnti will find you. You don't have to go find him. Do you remember that last year, guys, where he did the butt bump? We did the whole video. Yeah, we did the whole video on it.
That's assault.
But yeah, have Crosby accidentally run into the crappy refs. Well, yeah, that might be hard because some of the crappy refs aren't actually on the field. They're on the sidelines, but maybe. Von Miller got a flag for the. Oh yeah. Wasn't there a ref that jumped into a crowd against the Raiders after we? I don't know. Maybe that was me. I don't know. Anyway, no, it wasn't. Just to do turn on, just turn on, smile through. Oh man, this ref discussion could go on for a while, but I'm glad we're having a discussion because nobody else is talking about this stuff.
And it's an intricate part of the game.
We have talked about that on this show, and I know we're going to be talking about it again. We've got a video up on our show that walks you through that blown call against the Bengals in the playoffs last year.
What's that called, Cap?
What the blow job.
Yeah.
The blow job. Yeah, the blow job. Yeah. And again, I can't take credit for that, but I think it was Masquerader that said it.
I think it was. Yeah.
I think it was Masquerader that said it. It's the blow job. I know it was a female that was talking on my show, and I said, no, it's called the blow job.
Yep. Wow. Okay. Well, you know what? I don't want bad calls, but if we have them, this is where we need to talk about them. And I guarantee you, we can break it down on the show, and I can tell you exactly what happened, why it happened, or way it should have happened, and you can get that here. So back to your comment. Who was guru? That would be me, former referee. I'm not refereeing anymore, but I was pretty damn good at it. And so we're bringing that to this show. That's what I bring. The rest of these guys, these are all the football brains. The guys on the show, the guys in the chat, man, they've forgotten more football than I'll ever know. But
hey, man,
I'm talking about it now. Refs have faves. Don't doubt it. Yeah. I'm starting to like this ref. Well, good. It was... it was a fumble, all right. Yeah, Brady absolutely fumbled. Yeah. Let's see, talking about refs have faves. There's no doubt that the referees, the officials, if you will, have favorites. But you know what? Nowadays, it has more to do with the individual players than it does the actual teams. It used to be teams. It's now more players. Why is it
Right.
players? Because they're playing fantasy football. Why are they playing fantasy football? Because they're not supposed to be, because it's gambling, but they do anyway because they're getting paid. That's the topic for another show. They're not supposed to be doing fantasy football. It's in their contract. It's in their CBA. Are they doing it? Yep, absolutely. What about the web play in Miami? I don't know. I didn't see it. I'd have to go back and see it. What's up, Raider Nation? Well, that's a good question. I think next week on this show, I hope we're talking about a Raiders win at home against the Chargers. No ref, their nephew plays fantasy.
A good one. Yeah, that too.
Well,
Rich.
yeah, that's how they do it. Okay. All right. You know what? We're an hour and a half into an hour show. Look, everybody, thank you for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. Cap, thank you for simulcasting on your channel, this show. I really appreciate the support. For Richie Riche in the Wild Wild West show at Mile High Roundtable Network, thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. You've got good stuff on your show. Like, subscribe to Mile High Roundtable Network and Wild Wild West show. Cap you got like 40 million different shows. You got a lot of shows. You're on all the time. But the key is to go to Captain Jack Rackham, subscribe to his channel, and get plugged into everything that's going on in sports in general, Raiders in particular. He's on the Wild Wild West show. He is one busy, and I bleeped myself out on that. Said much love, Cap Brothers. Yeah, thank you, Sultan, for your comment. Before we close it out, thank you again. Seriously, everybody, thank you for joining the show. We'll give away some prizes. We're going to give away a lot of stuff this year, and it's not a gimmick. We're just trying to get people jazzed up about football, about fan participation, and we want you here, and we want to reward you for taking your time to come into this show. And we'll try to do it in a best quality way we can. That's it. We got to get out of here. Cap, any last comments before we take a dump?
Thank you, everybody who's watching the simulcast on my channel. I appreciate it, but make sure you go and subscribe to NFL Nation Live just in case the feed dump doesn't work. Okay, if the feed dump doesn't work, you're going to miss a hell of a show, but you're going to watch it. And we all appreciate you being there, but make sure you subscribe to NFL Nation Live. And it wouldn't be a show unless I go, yeah, Greater Nation.
Copy that. Love it. V, your final thoughts, my friend.
Hey, look, appreciate everybody coming. I mean, that's from our hearts. Thanks for supporting us. And we're trying to grow this audience. Like with some informative stuff, we try to keep it light, poke fun at ourselves and everybody else. So don't get offended, please. It's a football show, but it's about fun. We don't want to sound corporate at all. And you know me, I could flip out at any minute. So let's have fun. See you next week. And hopefully we have some good stuff to talk about. So bring a friend.
Hopefully we're talking about a Raider win in week 2. We'll catch you next week. We're here every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific. Hit us up. We'll hit you up. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next week. That is not the credits, but it was a nice break. Just a second. I know, right? Let me pick this one. What the hell? All right, let's roll the credits. That's preseason. That week 1 did I get a penalty for a false start?
No, not on your own show. Nah.
Okay. Nah. Like I said, you can't throw a flag on yourself.